Hello, everyone. It's Thursday. That means it is the EFG show. My name is Stephen Dutzman. I'm your host, as always, joined by one half of the amazing community management team for EngageFamilyGaming.com. One, Jeffrey Walker of the Frozen North. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. It's Happy Friday's Eve.
Yeah, happy Friday Eve to everybody. Jeff, for our very brief wrestling segment, are you done from the high that was Edge returning on during the Rumble last week?
I freaked out. Edge is my all-time favorite. Edge and Christian were my first favorites growing up. That's who I love to watch. And I was so sad when Edge retired. And I don't even have words. And then I don't typically watch the weekly TV just because I don't have time. But I had to watch his involvement in Raw on Monday.
Yeah.
I skipped straight to that moment, and it was amazing.
Yeah, you get to replace your sadness for him being gone with nervousness for every time he takes a bump. So
I know, yes, yes.
So welcome to that. We're like nervous parents. Welcome everybody to the chat. This is Steve and Jeff. We just had our brief talking about wrestling while everybody hops into the chat. We have so much stuff to do. Kate, Edge is back. Kate loves Edge too. How's that? So we'll have a brief moment. He's 46, which is not that old. And he is back. And so I was watching with my sons, and this is the fun story. Is that they were like, "Who's that guy?" And I was like, "Well, it's Edge."
Ouch.
Well, remember they know the New Day and The Rock. So I was like, "Oh, that's Edge," and then I was like, "He used to be a vampire." That is my new favorite thing, is when old wrestlers come back or they talk about old wrestlers. I get to talk about old wrestling gimmicks, and it makes me sometimes very happy. And Edge and Christian, who happen to used to be vampires, is probably the best one. But enough about pro wrestling. We'll do a pro wrestling show at some point if we really need to. But there is so much news to talk about this week. Like, you and I had our pre-show meeting, and we couldn't keep up.
Yeah, we kept coming up with things. It's crazy. We're like, oh no, we better hurry up, otherwise we're going to be starting late.
Yeah, exactly. And so we did start a few minutes late. Sorry about that, folks. I was having some technical difficulties getting the set behind me up. So let's just get this going. As always, we start with the release list. Before you start, and because you're going to get your list, you publish it on Engage Family Gaming's Facebook page. That's engagefamilygaming.com/Facebook. There's an addition that was added after it all came out, and I want to talk about it very briefly, and that is Patapon 2 Remastered. It's on PS4. It's $15. I bought it this afternoon, and I have played approximately a half hour. I am pretty sure I'm very bad at it. It is a rhythm strategy game. So if you like rhythm games, and if you like weird like strategy RPG type things, I think that you will dig Patapon 2. If for nothing else, it is kind of cute. So I will have more coverage in streams and all sorts of stuff like that, because we're gonna cover a little bit more of this game. But it missed the list because you publish on Sunday, and normally that's safe. And
I publish on Sundays, and it's typically written on Thursday or Friday the week before.
Yeah.
So a couple days before it's published. So anything that's announced Saturday and Sunday, or even later during the week, don't get put onto the list.
Yeah, and they announced it on Monday and maybe Tuesday. Like, they announced it, I think it was Monday. Let me see. I can check. But whenever they announced it, let's see here. It was the 27th, so whatever day that was.
That was Monday.
That was Monday? So on Monday, they announced it, and they said that it was coming out the 30th, and it was just crazy. The music will definitely get stuck in your head. The idea is you have a magical drum, and all the face buttons on your PlayStation controller are different drums. And so you have to hit like a certain pattern to make your troops march, and then you have to hit another pattern to make them attack. And so when you hit the buttons, it's like pata 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 pon means they walk. And so you hit pata 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 pon, and then you hit the buttons, and then they go for a measure, and then you hit Pon pon patapon, which is attack. And so you have to like balance it back, and you have to not hit buttons while they are marching, because if you give them more commands while they are marching, they get very mad and they just stop. So it's super cool. It's cute. The music is already stuck in Jenna's head. She walked through the room and was like, "What is this?" and was like kind of disgusted by it, I think. And then we started to make dinner. Or we started to finish dinner. She was making it, and she was singing the song. So it's definitely stuck in all our heads. Can't wait to get more. But
you said it's a remaster. So what was it originally on? Because I am
PSP.
not familiar with this series. Okay, PSP.
These are PSP games, so they are old as all get out.
That is why I'm not familiar. I have never owned a PSP or a PS Vita.
I need to get a PS Vita. If you own, I mean, I have to get a PS Vita at some point. Just for the JRPG shenanigans.
Yes.
But it's just, they're hard. I missed the window where they are cheap, because now they're collector's items. So, what are you going to do? I'll find one eventually. Facebook Marketplace is a thing. So, Jeff, let's just get to work. Because we got to start knocking these to-do lists down. What's the release list this week? And we'll see if, and then we'll pick something. Although my pick is probably going to be Patapon 2.
Now that you've talked about it, that might be mine. So I will preface this by saying it's a long list this week, but not a lot of the games are really worth talking about.
So I would say, why don't we do it for the sake of today's show? If you don't think it's worth talking about, just don't say the title.
Okay. So nothing really exciting coming out on Monday. There were 2 games, Motorcycle Mechanic Simulator and Super Tennis. Tuesday, we had our big release of the Super Smash Bros. DLC Pack 5 with Byleth in version 7.0.
You said you played that, right?
I did play it. I only played through Byleth's classic mode, beat it. It's really fun. It's stamina matches against all the Fire Emblem characters.
Okay.
And then the final battle, the boss battle of his mode is you play Byleth, and all other Fire Emblem characters are with you with like 30 hit points, and you're all fighting Master Hand and Crazy Hand.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was really fun. I beat every single spirit that came with the DLC.
Okay, because you're a crazy person.
Because I just hit my 1,000th spirit this week, so...
You crazy. But listen...
I will say, and this has nothing to do with what came out, but I did find a very creative spirit. I fought the legendary spirit for Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres.
Okay.
And I thought, they're just going to put Falco. That's all they're going to do. 3 different colors of Falco, you know? Okay. No, you fought 3 Lucases. One only used PK Freeze, one only used PK Fire, and the one only used PK Thunder.
That works. I dig it.
It works. Yeah, so.
I dig it. All right, so what else came out?
Along with the DLC, just going to say, they did special events for Tetris 99 DLC spirits and Daemon X Machina spirits, and they are now available in the normal spirit board.
Okay.
Wednesday, really the only thing that kind of looked interesting, there's a game called Coffee Talk. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because it comes out for Wednesday for Switch, Thursday for PS4, and Friday for Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really interesting, like you're working at a cafe, and it's almost like, a visual novel of people just coming to the cafe telling you their problems and you're trying to solve them.
Yeah, more or less. What's interesting is it's in a weird alternate present Seattle where there are like elves and orcs and stuff.
It looks really interesting, and if it goes on sale at one point, I will probably pick it up. I'm always up for a good visual novel.
Sure. What else
a couple of games to talk about on Thursday. Of course, you already talked about Patapon
2. Remastered.
There's a game coming out for the PS4 and Switch called Bookbound Brigade.
Yeah, it's a side-scrolling action-adventure game where you play as like famous authors, right?
Yeah, and you fight literary heroes or something. It was just very interesting.
Is it 2-player co-op? Did you see? Because if it's 2-player co-op, I think I might have to play through it with Evan.
Yeah, I am not. Yeah, we'll have to look it up. I just saw it when usually it'll take me to the Switches page when I'm trying to check the ESRB ratings of all these games. And then a weird game coming out for a Switch, and I can only preface how weird it is by reading the game features. It's called Speaking Simulator.
Mm-hmm.
And so here are your game features for Speaking Simulator. Make your way through 10 different social scenarios such as job interviews, eulogies, doctor examinations, and romantic conversations. Upgrade yourself with the latest in social technology, learn to smile, raise an eyebrow, and awkwardly glance away from eye contact just like in real life. The most realistic gibberish system ever seen in gaming. Play within a dynamic audio system that reacts to ton of mouth movements. And it just goes on. In the last one, it says, a surprisingly good portrayal of social anxiety.
Yeah, this is one of those weird, like, it's not a game to be taken seriously, because I don't think the developers took it seriously while they were making it. But
Yeah,
it's
the developers are affable games. I've never even heard of them.
This is one of those ones you're going to want to watch it on YouTube. Check it out on YouTube of Talking Simulator. You'll understand what we mean. Basically, you use your the buttons to control different parts of the face, and so you're like trying to create sounds that make sense. It's kind of interesting. I wonder how much like science they put into any of this, but I don't think probably very much.
I mean, coming from a scientific field, let's just say a surprisingly good. If I put that in a report, it's going to get thrown back at me. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Hey, check out Talking Simulator. Okay, so anything else?
$20.
Anything else coming out?
And then tomorrow, not really. Willie Jetman, Astro Monkey's Revenge, just because I wanted to say that name. Ash of God's Redemption. It's just a whole list of a bunch of. I'm sure there's some physical games in here, but not big physical games.
Okay.
It came from space and ate our brains.
That sounds somewhat interesting. So, not a big game release week, although we're getting close.
We're getting there.
This is the year that's just never going to quit. So we did also get the PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live game, or the Xbox Live games with gold. Not so much for the families for the PlayStation, but why don't you share what came out of it?
Yeah, I will say, but I think both of them did a pretty good job this month.
Okay.
For games with gold, you're going to get on February 1st to February 29th, you're going to get TT Isle of Man, which is a motorcycle racing game.
Yep.
From February 16th to March 15th, a rated M game, Call of Cthulhu.
Yep.
Which I'm pretty sure has gotten pretty good reviews.
It's
an RPG based in H.P. Lovecraft's world set in 1930s Arkham, something like that. Also, with games with gold from February 1st to February 15th, you're going to get Fable Heroes.
Yep.
I have not played that game. I played Fable 2 and Fable 3. I never played Fable Heroes.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
I might have to pick up. I really liked Fable 3. I'm hoping Fable 4 comes out eventually.
We know it's in development, but it's not going to be called Fable 4.
Yeah. And then I thought this was a pretty cool release. From February 16th to February 29th, you can get Star Wars Battlefront for the original Xbox.
The OG.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's a good idea. We just got. I was just reading from the Electronic Arts earnings call. Fun fact. Not only did Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order exceed expectations and sell very well, but apparently Star Wars Battlefront 2 has sold very well this year on the back of a very strong community and a number of updates. So they've actually been pleasantly surprised by the sales of that game. So it does not surprise me that we'd be seeing some of the older Battlefronts popping around. This is one of those, like, expect it to be old game is old material, but it's free, so if you like Star Wars,
give it a try. Yeah. So pretty good selection over on the Xbox side. I know Xbox, I've noticed since I've had an Xbox, can be a hit or miss because you still also, most people get that awesome library from Game Pass.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, but they've still put some bangers on there.
Yeah, and so now going over to the PlayStation side, which I think is
definitely the winner.
The winner, if we're gonna say the winner, I would give it to PlayStation, which is good because PlayStation has been kind of lax in the last few months. Like, I went and I mean, I guess Nathan Drake Collection last month was cool, but I guess I didn't care because I already own it.
Yeah.
The games for this month I do not own, and I will definitely be downloading them. So not rated T or under, it's rated M, but you will be getting the BioShock the collection, which includes BioShock 1, BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite, the whole series.
As well as the DLC for BioShock 2.
As well as the DLC for BioShock 2. I have not played that game. I've always wanted to play those games.
You never played BioShock? Definitely not for the kids.
Yeah.
It's a little spoopy for me, BioShock 1 and 2. BioShock Infinite is brighter because you're not in Rapture. So you're in like a cloud city, so it's brighter, and so I actually really kind of enjoyed that one more. But yeah, it's a no-brainer now. Like if you've ever wanted to play BioShock, you have no excuse anymore.
Yeah. Also coming out is The Sims 4. And by the way, these will all be available on the 4th of February, so next Tuesday.
I'm pretty excited about Sims 4 on PS4. I think that my kids will have a lot of fun with that.
So I have a history with The Sims. I played The Sims so much on our computer growing up when it first came out. I was in high school, middle school, high school, and I'm not helping any. Am I with my age again?
You're definitely not. You do this every week, and every week I'm like, man, Jeff, you are a young man. But that's okay.
But as I was saying, and every time the Sims games come out, I want to buy it, but my problem is I'll buy it, then I'll be into it for a week or two, and then I'm done with it. So now I get it for free. I can play for a week or two and not feel like I wasted my money.
Correct. I'm pretty excited about it. This is fun fact. I have never played a Sims game.
Really? Like Sims Total?
I've never played any Sims games for any length of time. Like, I messed around. Like, I think I messed around with it on PC at somebody's house. But, like, I never owned it and played it. We have Jesse Walker commenting, good choice. I'm guessing she's saying that I have never... Does she not like The Sims?
I don't know.
I mean, you know her better than I do, I would presume. So, the... excuse me. I've never played it. What happened is it's always been just kind of right outside my wheelhouse. So I just never quite got it. But I'm excited to play 4. I know it's not the most recent one because Sims 5 is out on PC and everything, but I'm down.
Sims 4 is the most recent, isn't it? Or is it?
I thought there was Sims 5. Let's
look. No, we're doing it live.
We're doing it live. No, you're right. Wait.
They just been coming out with DLC every year since it's been out.
Yeah, I thought Sims 5 was a thing.
Jesse wants to reiterate, good choice on saving money.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's...
By not spending my money on The Sims.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Let's see here. I'm just going to go to see if there's a Sims video game site on EA.com, and it'll tell me, nope, Sims 4 is the thing. So this is the newest Sims game.
But it's been out for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and this one is probably not going to have any of the DLC or anything, but I'm okay with that. I don't need DLC. I'm super happy to just roll in and just play the basic game.
Yeah. And honestly, I go through the PS Store's list of games on sale, and Sims DLC goes on sale quite a bit.
Yeah, so if it matters, if it gets crazy and all of a sudden we're like making YouTube content for it all over the place and stuff like that, then yeah, we'll go. But I suspect that Meggie and I will just make a dollhouse and call it a day. So yeah, and there's also a VR game.
There is, yeah. You also get a third game with PlayStation Plus, which I know people were kind of pitching fits when PlayStation took away the Vita games because it was giving us PS4 owners actually extra games we could get.
Mm-hmm.
So you can also get for PlayStation VR Firewall Zero Hour.
Yeah, which is, from my understanding, a very good PlayStation VR game. So, um, that is the relevant game stuff. Man, we have to get to work. We can't even really belabor those points. You want to talk about the new Switch they announced today? Not a new Switch, but a special edition Switch that is so freaking adorable. I'm about to lose my darn mind
Me too, and I was already told I couldn't get it.
because it's important to save money.
It's
I
important to
get it.
save money. That
Um,
I'm allowed to get The Sims 4 because it's free right now
Yeah, hey man, listen. Well, it's free on February 4th.
on February 4th,
Okay,
yes.
folks. So Nintendo today announced that March 13th, an Animal Crossing themed Nintendo Switch console will be launched. And I have an image for you. Look at that. Now I'm blocking my face a little bit. Oh, slide over this way. Yes, that is the thing. It's got the three little raccoon guys just chilling. Those are unique Joy-Con colors that you have not seen before. This is so cool, and it's exactly what we knew they were going to do, right? Like, what's crazy about this is making a special edition console really doesn't really cost them anything. You know, it's just that they know they know that dorks like us are just gonna want to buy them. This looks super cute. I love the specialized dock. It's just every bit of this is so cute. I just
I
don't need a new one.
I know it's not going to happen, but I would love if they sold those Joy-Cons separately. I have a thing for Joy-Cons. I don't buy them a lot because I'm told not to.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Those are very, very nice Joy Cons. Because of just the colors, they're so nice and pretty and oceany, which makes sense because Animal Crossing's new game is about a deserted island, or more or less deserted island. So yeah, it's coming out March 13th. It's going to be $299.99. It does not include the game, but that's kind of standard issue for Nintendo Special Editions now. It's just a very pretty Nintendo Switch. I hope this is one of those things, kind of like the Zelda Wii U, that was just kind of readily available. I think this would be a very cool thing for Christmas. So I'm hoping that this is not like a limited edition. I hope this is just a special edition that there's plenty of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ended up when I bought my Wii U. Yeah, I was surprised because I have the Zelda Wii U because I could walk in just months later and it was there.
Same with us. Kate, thank you for watching again. She says she would totally get those Joy-Cons separately if they were available. I agree. I think they're unique colors and they're very nice. What I hope
They're not. Oops, sorry.
Go
They're
ahead.
not as bright and vibrant as the other. They're more of a pastel color, which is different than other Joy Cons.
Yeah, absolutely. My wife, who is also watching, saying that it is so pretty. She is correct. It is a very cute looking console. I just think the little details, like the water on the dock, is just tall enough so that the Switch like kind of rests on it and kind of like it's just on the water. And that's a small detail in the graphic design, but I like it. And yes, my wife says we have too many Switches. She right. We got too many of those. When the Switch Lite goes down in price, in a handful of years, we'll probably get another one. And Kate's saying that she digs the mellow colors. I'm with her. I think this is a masterfully designed console. It's obviously going to sell out. I hope that they just, this is the kind of thing that I would love to see in the holiday bundles. You know what I mean?
Now, they did officially, and this was officially coming to the United States. So the last special editions they did, Dragon Quest XI and the Disney Sum Sum, did not come over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you had to buy those separate. And have them imported. That's the good news, is that it's easier to import things now than it really ever has been. But still, you'll be able to get these. You can they're open for pre-order at Best Buy right now. I'd presume also at GameStop, etc. So that is the Animal Crossing Switch. So I'm gonna close that window. Nintendo had their earnings call today. It was like last night in Japan, so I'm not really sure what day that is. Was that yesterday? Was that today? Who knows? No one knows. There's no possible way to find out. Would you believe it if I told you, Jeff, that Nintendo's killing it right now?
I mean, I if you would have asked me at the start of the Switch's lifestyle, I'd say you'd be crazy. In 3 years, it would sell almost 3 years. It would sell 52 million
Way,
units.
way to
Sorry,
spoil it,
I,
Jeff.
I spoiled it. Sorry, I just got too excited.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. The Nintendo Switch has outsold the SNES, or yes, the SNES, and the Xbox One. That's what really has happened. We're looking at over 50 million Switches sold in a little bit more than 3 years. That is absolutely bananas. Actually, less than 3 years, because 3 years will be March of 2020, right? So less than 3 years, 50 million. It is a blistering pace. Here's some interesting facts, and I went over some of this on the EFG Daily Commute. However, the last quarter. Now this was October, November, December. So this all ended December 31st. The regular Nintendo Switch sold 7.5 million units. Now that makes sense, right? Because it's the holiday. Anecdotally, you and I know tons of people who bought those. So that makes sense. Now the Switch Lite sold over 3 million units. That's almost 11 million units of Nintendo Switches sold in the last quarter. That is a blisteringly fast pace.
That's almost the total selling amount of the Wii U in its lifetime.
Correct. Yeah, this is the reason we bring these up is there are a lot of folks that bought Nintendo Switches or are thinking about them. What I want to do is just say, feel good about this. Right? Feel good about your purchase. The Nintendo Switch is going to be around for a very long time. It's going to continue to get game support. We're going to start seeing third-party games. The other thing we know is that third-party games are actually doing very well on the Nintendo Switch.
So, yeah, and it's crazy because I don't know if you remember back when the Switch came out, the main argument people had, the Switch has no games.
Yeah, well, that was true for like a week. And now, every week we come out here and we read this release list. This week I had to tell you to stop. I had to tell you, dude, not listing all the games because there's too many of them. There are over 3,000 games on the Nintendo eShop. And
and Nintendo Switch released more games on its system than the Xbox One and the PS4 combined in 2019.
Yeah, exactly. Now, a lot of that is companies bringing games that were already out elsewhere and porting them to Switch, right? So the Pets program, port everything to Switch. Totally makes sense. But here's why. The Switch software sales for the quarter, 64.5 million games were sold. 64.5 million games.
That's crazy.
That's 6 games per Switch. That's nuts. That is absolutely insane.
And that's the total number, right? 64 million total?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, total.
Yeah, so
Switch
6
software.
games per Switch. Then you have outliers, like we're both outliers. I assume you own more than 6 games. I've had my Switch a year and a half.
That is the 6 games that were purchased last quarter.
Yeah.
So that's almost like that. That's a lot of games.
Yeah.
Now, you're right. That's not like a 6-game attach rate to each of those 10 million Switches. However, we do know the Switch sales for this year. It's just, without reading everything, we know the lifetime of Switch and Switch software. So the lifetime total Switch is 52.5 million Switches.
And I looked up the list of the best-selling game consoles of all time.
Yep.
It's in 13th place right now.
Yeah.
It needs to sell 9 million more and it'll beat the NES.
Yeah, which it'll do in like an hour. So 52 million overall Switches sold. Lifetime software sales for the Switch is 310 million games.
Wow.
That's where I got the numbers. I forgot where I did that because I recorded the this. I went through all this morning. This is absolutely nuts. And here's the thing. It's the generation is ending, right? PS4, Xbox One, they're coming out with new consoles. Nintendo does not care. They're already underpowered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kate mentioning that they have like 35 games that they have physical copies of. I mean, they do physical just like you, Jeff. They have a shelf just like yours. And they're big amiibo folks too. I have been there to the place where the magic happens. They have many of the amiibos.
So do I,
Yeah,
Kate. We're on the same boat.
yeah,
I
y'all.
have over 30 of them.
Yeah,
So
y'all got a lot of amiibos. Y'all are keeping the
plus,
amiibo industry afloat.
I also have the Day with Pikachu Funko set, just missing one.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that.
I
So,
have a problem.
you do have a problem, but hey, listen, it's just to make the set behind you. It's just
Yep.
you knew that you were going to be doing a live news show at some point, so you needed to have a set behind you. That's what we're going to tell your wife, so that you don't get in trouble. So it's all for the YouTubes. So yeah, Nicole Tanner makes a very good point. That Nintendo exited the console war with the Wii, and that's basically it. Nintendo really does not care.
No.
They were underpowered to begin with. They will remain underpowered when these other consoles go out. The reality is, when you have a console selling as fast as the Nintendo Switch and selling as many games as the Nintendo Switch, people gonna make games for it. People gonna make games, and that's it. So I am super excited, and Nintendo can obviously move some units with some of their games. So I can't, and we don't even know what's coming out this year other than Animal Crossing. That's what's so crazy, is that first party Nintendo is silent yet, and we really don't know much of what they're doing, and we know that eventually they're just going to blow us away. We talked about some of that last week, so it's crazy, folks. How about this? The 3DS isn't even giving up either. They had 250,000 3DSs sold. That thing is not going to go quietly.
That's crazy.
Right? Speaking of crazy, would you believe that we're less than 2 weeks away from the Sonic the Hedgehog movie actually coming out?
I know, and I was just actually talking this with my wife, and we're maybe thinking going to see it because like the preview came before one of our YouTube videos, and my daughter was just staring at the screen.
I'm definitely going, and I'm bringing the boys. We're going to review a special episode of the EFG Daily Commute where we review it. I don't know, man. All right, what are we? So what else was on the list? Nicole is. Oh no, Nicole Tanner. Her daughter Anna said she wants to see it. There's no dragons in it, Nicole. How does she want to watch Sonic? I think it's gonna be fine. James Marsden, who will always be my Cyclops, will be in that movie. So I'll take it. What else? What else happened? There's a lot, right? What did we forget? So we got the new Switch, which we talked about. We talked about Nintendo sales results. We talked about the Atari Hotels last week, right?
We did not.
We did not? Okay.
You did a EFG commute, which you'll need to explain this to me. I have not read this article or anything. It's been crazy for me. I haven't had the chance to read up on some of this stuff, so do explain what's going on here.
I have officially reached Greg Miller and other, like, I do too many shows. I can't remember what I've talked about. My kid Evan called me out on the way to the grocery store this afternoon saying that I do podcasts every day, it seems like, and I think that's probably true. Okay, so Atari is breaking ground on a series of 8 hotels. And the first one will be in Phoenix, Arizona, and they are meant to be Atari-themed hotels with dedicated esports locations.
Okay.
I think the real draw here is that it has nothing to do with the hotel. Like, the hotel itself is just a part of it. I don't think this is meant to be like this premier Atari experience, because there's no such thing as a premier Atari experience. Like, it's Pitfall and Asteroids. It's like, I mean, they have really cool, like retro aesthetics and stuff like that. Nicole wants to say it's the stupidest thing ever. I disagree with you, Nicole. but I don't think it's the hotel part that matters. The hotel part, whatever. There's just going to be some rooms with like a weird asteroid in it. The real key is they're going to be making dedicated esports facilities. So most hotels have a banquet hall or, just a hall
A
in the
conference
bottom.
room.
Conference rooms, things like that. And that's one of the areas where they make their money. The story that I told as part of the EFG Daily Commute, I told about a big Magic tournament that I used to go to every year. It was like this massive international tournament that was held in Waterbury, Connecticut. And it was a room, and all they needed was a bunch of tables, and it was successful. The hotel made a ton of money because they rented the space, and it was a Magic tournament, right? Esports is harder to do that with because there's certain things that you just need, right? You need big TV screens, you need lots of power cables, you need like a dedicated space for that kind of stuff. You can't just rent out a room in a hotel. It's harder. So Atari, which is what they're saying they're doing, is basically setting up these hotels with dedicated esports locations inside them, assuming they do it right. Now, obviously, execution is a big piece of this, but assuming they do it right, that means in Phoenix and in Chicago, there will be a place for esports events that are bigger than a store, right? Plenty of us have Smash tournaments in local game stores, right?
Yeah.
But, like, you can't have 300 people playing Smash at, like, a GameStop, right? Like, a lot of these our stores are that big. You can't do that. Just like you can't have a 50-man Friday Night Magic at a comic book shop down the street. You just can't do it. You need a bigger space. So assuming they execute correctly, which Nicole is rightfully cynical about it. But the idea is having a dedicated space to handle events that are too big for small local stores, but aren't big enough to like rent out where the Seattle Supersonics used to play, like the International, or the Philadelphia, they're building a dedicated esports arena. It's going to be like what it appears to be is that they'll just be smaller, kind of mid-tier venues. And if it's executed correctly, I think it has the potential to be very cool. Nicole, her comment, she had a couple of comments. Number one, she said it's the stupidest idea ever. I think I said that already, but it's funny. She said they haven't made a good commercial decision in a decade. I think a decade might even be kind of generous. I don't think that they've made a good financial decision in a while. Like I mean, it might have been longer than that.
Have you been following the disaster that is their Atari VCS console that's supposed to come out this fall?
I think she and I both qualify that as not a good commercial decision. And she's saying they should just make arenas. Probably right. And I think that's kind of what these are. I think they're just, it's a hotel with an arena in it. I mean,
did they give a time frame on when they're expecting these to be done?
Not that I am aware of. Let's take a look. We're doing it live. All right, let's see here. Atari Hotels. Oh.
There's a website.
There is, in fact, a website.
AtariHotels.com.
Yep. Let's see here. They're breaking ground in spring 2020, so this is years away. It sounds fine. I can't click that link, Nicole. But I trust you that you are probably right. They're making maybe they should make an esports arena. But I can't. They're making a hotel. I think that the hotel has the potential, assuming it is executed correctly, to be cool, and useful and profitable. We'll have to see, right? Like we don't have much choice. So that is the Atari Hotels. Let's take a look. What else has happened this week? So much. Oh, wait.
Oh, Pokemon Home.
Yeah, that's right. I knew we were remembering something. Guys,
there was something we were forgetting.
Okay, guys. Pokemans. Lots of Pokemon news. So, we finally got the details for Pokemon Home. I am working on, and I am almost there with the Parent's Guide to Pokemon Home, which will be coming out which will actually be coming out in February, so next month. Nicole's still on the topic, but I want to bring it up because she made a really good point. She said the University of Washington is making an esports arena. Arenas on college campuses make the most sense at this point. Yeah, you know what? Central Connecticut State University, my alma mater, actually built one, and they have a state-of-the-art esports facility. I'm actually working with their with the facility staff there to get a tour. So I think that could actually be kind of cool to just see what they have. I can understand what you're saying, Nicole. You're probably right. College campuses are probably a really good place for that. And especially since that's probably like one of the next big areas where esports are going to grow. So it looks like just about every college has a esports team now, or will have an esports team very soon. So, all right, here's what Pokemon Home does. It's coming out in February. It is replacing Pokemon Bank, more or less. The idea is it's going to be there. It will be both mobile and it will have an app on the Nintendo Switch. You'll be able to connect them to all of the Switch Pokemon games. That's Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, as well as Sword and Shield. Eventually, you will be able to link it to Pokemon Go, and you'll also be able to link it to the Pokemon Bank itself. There's a free version and a premium version. The difference is just kind of how some of the features work. It's going to cost about $16 a year for premium. You muted yourself when you coughed, Jeff, and then you never unmuted yourself. So, while Jeff figures out his microphone.
Is this working?
It works now.
I unmuted it. I don't know. I don't understand this headset.
Technology is a challenge. Okay. So, it's going to be like $16 a year. Obviously, as soon as they announced it, the internet got super angry because of course it did.
Expect it. Pokemon fans, they could announce that they're giving all 8 generations of Pokemon for free, and Pokemon fans would find a reason to be angry about it.
Listen, they could fold up $100 bill in every copy of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. And I am convinced that there are Pokemon fans who would complain about the way it was folded. Just how it is, right? Like,
yep.
We knew Pokemon Home was going to have a premium cost associated with it. What I think is really interesting is, especially like for our family, we only need to buy one premium subscription. And for the most part, because we're casual users, I think everybody else will have a free version, like a free account. But I really don't think that we'll need more than one pro account. There are some folks that will need multiple pro accounts. I mean, we have some friends of the site who are like the hardest of the hardcore Pokemon fans. They might need to. But even if you are that hardcore that you need to and can justify that from a use case perspective, then $30 really isn't that bad.
Yeah. And I mean, just looking at these numbers, it's just, if you have the non-paid version, you can store up to 30 Pokemon in your Pokemon Home.
Mm-hmm. Which is more than I would ever need.
That's what I'm thinking. Because then you can I'm only going to use it to transfer. I'm a hardcore Pokemon fan, but I don't play competitively. I play to have fun.
Yeah.
If you're paying the premium price, so the $15.99 for the year, you can store up to 6,000 Pokemon.
6,000 Pokemon. Talk about future proofing. But it's coming. It is coming soon. We're gonna have more details about it and some experiences with it as it comes closer. But really, the ability to manage your Pokemon collection and trade your Pokemon collection and kind of grow it and fill out your Pokedex from your cell phone is pretty cool and worth the price of admission if you are that hardcore.
Yes. I mean, I probably won't get the premium plan, but I will definitely mess around with the free thing to see if the premium plan is worth it.
Yeah.
Because if it was more if I did have to also get Bank to switch over my Pokemon from X and Y or Sun and Moon or Alpha, Sapphire, Omega Ruby, I would I would have been more likely to maybe pay for it to switch some to fill out my Pokédex and my Sword and Shield, but as of right now, it's not
Yeah.
something that I'm really looking into doing.
Yeah, I mean, it ultimately comes down to your use case scenario, right? Like, how are you, like, how many Pokemon do you have that you could put into that bank that you want to pull out from elsewhere? Like, do you have a collection that dates back? Like, do you have a really big, full Pokemon bank? If you don't, you're probably okay because you don't need to move these things around. I think the one exception would be if you have a ton of stuff in Pokemon Go. Maybe that'll change once you can connect to that, depending on some of the features.
That's the thing that also might entice me to pay for maybe not a whole year, but maybe do the $2.99 1 month just to transfer a ton of my Pokemon Go people
Yeah.
over, just so I can fill out my Pokedex.
The fact that the Pokemon Home, the fact that Pokemon Home is going to kind of connect all of these services, all these games and services together, really does just kind of tie everything together. I know folks wanted it to be free, but it was never going to be free, and anyone that had the expectation that it was going to be free was kind of fooling themselves. It was going to cost money. Is Pokemon an expensive game on Switch? Yes, because of the DLC and all that, but what are you going to do, man? It's Pokemon. If you love Pokemon, you love Pokemon.
Yep.
So that is, the Pokemon Home details. Like I said, I recorded an EFG Daily Commute about it the other day. So if you want to go to engagefamilygaming.com/podcast and take a look, you can give that a listen. I think, from what it sounds like, it sounds like a pretty good value if it's something that you need. And if you don't need it, then just get the free one. You'll still get to put 30 Pokemon. You still get to play and use it for various things. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. Let's see. I know I got so excited about everything. How about this? Completely forgot because this is just the way our life works. We're gonna have to figure out a way to remember all the things that we talk about in our pre-show meetings. So Wario 64.
Pen and paper.
Pen and paper. Man, seems so boring. So Wario 64, who is a great follow on Twitter, by the way.
If you want good deals, definitely.
Especially if you like saving money on video games. He put out a tweet that was kind of highlighting some of the information from Nintendo's earnings call. And one of the things Nintendo said, and they said it explicitly, is that they will not be releasing a new Nintendo Switch in 2020. That's relevant, very relevant, in fact, because there have been rumors, all sorts of rumors about like a Switch Pro, and none of that now. And I think that makes so much sense. This is not a great year for to put out a new piece of hardware because it's just going to be 100% just dominated by PS4 or PS5 and Xbox One Series X. What do you think? Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, and when people are saying a Switch Pro model, it's going to be hard for them to compete against completely new consoles coming out from their competitors. It just didn't seem like a feasible goal for them to achieve. So, would I love a Switch Pro to come out? Yes. Does it need to come out? No. I don't play my games for graphical qualities. I play my games because I want to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you are right. I mean, there really isn't much else to add to that. It's one of those excuse me. It's going to happen eventually, right? But because they've got to do something to kind of reinvigorate the market, over time. But I just think this is absolutely not the right way to do it. And they did it right. It would have been just not a great idea to go ahead and unintentionally compete. Instead, they can focus on software and just counter program with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 or something else crazy like that. Right?
Which, speaking of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, there is now a rumor going around that is coming out in 2021, and they're going to release a new game in a series. I don't remember where I saw that, but I did see that today from someone.
Huh. I did not see that. That sounds interesting. So yeah, what game? So in a new game in the Zelda series? Where did this rumor come from?
And I wish again I should write things down when I see them. It came from Nintendo Life or something. It was just a rumor that someone put out there, and they wouldn't give names of who told them this.
Huh.
But that Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out in 2021, and in holiday 2020 or sometime they're going to have a new game in a series that no one is expecting, is what the wording that it had.
Okay. All right. So our source is Nintendo Life without saying who said it.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
something
my
like
uncle
that.
works at Nintendo.
Kind of.
Yeah. All right. So they got to release something, right? We heard, we talked about it on last EFG show, if I recall correctly, that there was rumors that there's going to be a Paper Mario. Did we talk about that last week? There's rumors that from a reliable leaker that there will be a new Paper Mario and a new 2D Metroid game coming out this year. Those sound like great rumors.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, right? So we know they have to put out something. They have a bunch of teams making a bunch of games. We should find out any day, right? That's what's so crazy about this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we should have a direct in February, I think. If not February, beginning of March.
Yeah. Man, how busy would we be after a Nintendo Direct? I'm nervous just thinking about it. So, you know what? As busy as we were, Jeff, I think we just covered it all. We hit the big stuff, right?
We
did.
did.
Miss anything?
No, I think we got it all this week.
We did. So, folks, thank you very much for listening to this week's installment of the EFG show. This is a show that comes on every Thursday night where Jeff and I, and maybe in the future other people, will come on and talk about all the relevant family video game news that is fit to throw out on Facebook. You may have noticed, if you go to the Engaged Family Gaming Facebook page, that there is an event for every Thursday at 9 p.m. I would encourage all of you that are watching to head on over there. If you've made it this far in the episode, then obviously you're going to want to watch future episodes. I would encourage you go mark yourself as interested or attending the various events. What that does is two things. One, it will give you reminders so that you will know that our show is coming, so that you don't forget and miss the show. Also, when you say you are going, other people see that, and it will just kind of help grow the audience, right? We are doing this. We know this is the long game, but we're hoping to eventually grow the audience to the point where we have even more audience participation, and we don't. And Kate and Nicole don't have. They can just enjoy the show and don't have to work. Because I feel like you guys have been. I appreciate them. It's like you guys are part of the team because you chat with us so much, and I certainly appreciate that. So yeah, this is a great week. We have a lot of great games. We're going to be back next Thursday, and I am sure, even though I have no idea what's happening the rest of this week and next week, we're going to see even more cool stuff. It's nuts. The year is just going to start flying by.
Before we know it, it'll be E3 again.
Yeah, about that. So, everybody, I hope you all have a great night. And until next week, don't forget
to get your family game on.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.